Another episode of Motorcycle Rewind, talking motorcycles. Today we get BJ from Brickhouse Builds. This has been something that's been in the works. I feel like we've been in the works to doing this for months.
And so that's my fault for sure.
No, I think equal opportunity. So this is so awesome. Thank you for taking the time to do this. So let's get started with this. Just something I've been curious about is the name Brickhouse Builds.
Yeah. So
where'd it come from?
My previous house that
I got you.
Looking at the entire bottom half was a workshop, and it was just the Brickhouse Builds. I tried to come up with like maybe different names for it,
right?
The building itself is really old. But I couldn't confirm it. So Brickhouse Builds.
Yeah, Brickhouse Builds. So it worked out. That's awesome.
Yeah, but now I'm like shed, so it
doesn't fit anymore. Well, do we give some feedback on your end with me?
Yeah, I'm getting a little feedback.
I don't know where it's coming from. Let us know in the comments if you're getting it there too. I can't turn my volume on right now, but you're both sideways on the screen. Let's see if we go. How about that? Ask them if we're still sideways.
Actually, it's brighter now.
Oh, so we'll do that. I don't know where they are. So I don't have anything. You don't happen to have another computer open or something like that, right? That's playing this. Wow, that is banana. Let me see if I can do this because it is.
I lost the audio on your end.
Yeah, I was trying to see if it got better.
I mean, I can deal with it. My speaker on my phone.
Okay. Oh, okay. So that could be it. Well, cool. So let's just get back into it. Thanks for your patience on that. We'll see how it goes. But let's talk about. I watched your latest video. I think it was the latest video about unseasoning your Benelli.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, trying to figure out if it was all skill or a whole bunch of luck.
Mostly luck.
I mean that with all disrespect. All respect. Yeah. Go ahead.
The idea that it was laying on the side with it had plugs in it, but still, definitely.
Yeah, because when you think about it, because I know the video was edited because it has to be. There's some audio feedback. Yeah, thanks, Zach. We're trying to figure out where it's coming from. It's I apologize. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, I lost sound.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did that. Let's try this. When we're not talking, we'll hit the three dots and mute our side. Maybe that'll stop it. I don't know. It's crazy. I've never experienced this before. But you live and learn. It's all technology.
I it's my phone. There's always something like this with anything I do. It's always me.
Well, we're getting better. So because the reason why I asked about the unseasoning of the engine, I know it was edited, but it came out. It was one of those that just worked, right? It's just like.
Yeah, the CB750 that I did, it's right here. I keep saying it's like even if you rebuild it, you got to unseat it. And that one was like a little bit more violent than one before on a CB350F. The exact same way. It was a yard ornament for like 20 years. Seized up. I had it running in a weekend.
Yeah.
And It's got great compression and you know it's going to have a little bit of cylinder wear, but why not? You know.
Yeah, I got similarly lucky with a CL 350 that I paid $206 for. That you fill it full of juice. I put a all filter wrench around the stator, smacked it with a hammer, and it freed up. And then I rode it for till I sold it. It was perfect. It
Yeah.
was the most reliable one I had, and it was never took it apart.
Yeah.
It's I don't believe you have to. I think that brings up a good point because I think a lot of times, and we'll get into kind of motorcycles and back history and things like that. But a lot of times, people think they have to do more than what they have to do.
And I mean, to their credit or their defense, I mean, I do have that approach with some stuff. Like it's kind of like a
Right.
while you're in there thing.
Right.
But it's this like the CB750 as an example was like an experiment or a project that was completely opposite of everything I'm normally doing. So it was just like I just want to have fun with it and just kind of let it be a bratty kind of deal and use that approach. You know, not like I did what I needed to, but it's an experiment. You know, it's cool to get data on that stuff.
Yeah, it's like I was talking to a guy earlier, and this is his first vintage motorcycle, and he felt compelled to just take it all apart.
Hmm.
And in my thinking, the moment it doesn't roll is the moment you're not. If it's your first one, you're not going to do anything else with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you see the video? I had a customer here locally bring me a beautiful orange 72 CB750, and I got it
Mhm.
running.
Yeah.
So that I had a lot of emails and stuff from people wanting to buy that bike. Well, he did end up being interested in selling it, so I was talking with the guy, and it was a great running bike, relatively low mileage. I would have rode it to California. It's like ready to go. But he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna need to get it, and I'm gonna need to do a full engine rebuild and replace this, and this." And I'm like, "Why? It it literally does not need it, you know?"
Yeah, no, that's where it gets kind of crazy. So let's get into kind of past motorcycles because you've been doing this for a while. Your channel's 6 years old. What was the first motorcycle?
The first motorcycle that like I've had, or
Yeah, yeah. No, we'll go the first one you had, or maybe the first one you crashed on.
first one I had. Well, it's the first one I had, right?
That's right.
No, that would have been I remember my dad showed up in the Suburban, opens the barn doors, and grabs out a Honda Z50.
Oh,
That was
perfect.
my first. That was my first bike, and just ripping around the yard on that thing. And then I graduated to an XL80,
Oh, yep.
and then that was that. I put a lot of time on that thing. I loved it. Um, and then graduated again to an '84 XL 200R.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a bike that my dad had bought, and he was riding around. It was like street legal trail, like street trail bikes,
Right.
just real fun. And I rode that in high school, so I was like one of the first. You know, you get your my state in Missouri, you
Yeah.
get your motorcycle license at like 15 and a half.
Right.
So I was like riding to school pretty early on that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if they let you ride into school anymore, right? Yeah, because when I was younger, I'm considerably older than what you are. And when I was younger, kids were riding them to middle school.
Hmm.
It's like riding bicycles. They just ride mini bikes to school, and they just
I've heard about that.
yeah, it's. I'm not that old, but it's what was common. It was definitely commonplace, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Now, what was the first bike that you decided that I'm gonna start, I'm gonna build one?
Well, the moving into that, like, I went a while of like not having my own bike, and then I was living in Texas. I drove a Sportster, and I ended up
Yeah.
like doing some minor stuff on that, like everybody does, you know. But I went as far as like cutting the fender, and that was kind of the most radical mods I'd done to a bike at that time. But the next one I had was CB750. It was a 78. I still have it. I've never
Yeah.
finished it.
Oh, wow.
And my buddy had bought it. So that was the one I started. All of this started from. I bought that bike,
Right.
and again, never finished it, but I started modifying other bikes and getting this. All of a sudden, you start finding cheap deals. Like you actually like, I got to compete with you. You get more. You get some good deals.
Dude, I tell people I'm a connoisseur of cheap motorcycles.
Uh-huh.
And they just find me.
Yeah.
It's like my neighbor sent me a text 2 days ago and said, "Hey, a picture of a GTZ 1100
Yeah.
or 1000. Plastics off it there." And I said, "Hey, it looks like an interesting project." And he goes, "Do you want it?" I'm like, "Crap, I don't know if I want this thing." And I said, "Oh no, let me come check it out. What do you want for it?" And he goes, "Whatever you want to give me." And then the next day, he negotiates against himself and says, "I will. It's free. Come pick it up."
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know what's. So I ended up with a free. So I've got to go pick it up tomorrow. That it's completely. It was stored with the spark plugs out. So that's always good for an engine. So we're gonna do what we can to free it up. I've wanted to just my plan is, and I don't know if it'll work, but it seems like it should. My plan is to just drain all the oil out because it's probably got water in it anyway. Drain all the oil out, pressure wash the whole thing. Doesn't matter if I get water in it; it's already been in there. And then wash it out with Dawn dish soap just to get all the grease out, so that when I fill it full of either industrial grade, that 30% vinegar, or a vapor rust, I don't have anything that's going to fight against it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it'll just, and I can fill it from the bottom all the way to the top, seal it up, and then see what happens. And it can't get any worse than what it is.
Right.
Right? It's I can't make it worse. So worst case scenario, I got to take it all apart, but I'm gonna still have to either unseize it or beat on it like a stepchild to make it work. So
I have
that's
seen
where.
I've seen a video of a guy, and he was like unseizing an engine, and he made like a cool fit, like he used like a fish tank aerator pump or something, and like
Mhm.
put a line into the engine,
Yeah,
heat the flares, and then flush out the exhaust with all the contaminants
yeah.
and stuff. Like that's not a bad idea, you know.
Now, I did that with when we lived in Connecticut. I would restore pedal start mopeds
Mhm.
because you get from the '70s, you can find them everywhere. And I did that once with ATF and just let it run through it. Just let it cycle into a 5-gallon bucket and just let it keep going. And it didn't have to worry about it. I mean, it was awesome. I love this. Negotiated a GL 650 for $200.
52. Those are harder. Those are harder to find.
Yeah,
GL 500, sure, but yeah, GL 650s are getting rare. Any 650s are getting rarer and rarer.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just going through questions here.
Oh, good, good, yeah,
No bikes are free, right, BJ? Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
That Buell
It's
I got, that green Buell
that
Cyclone,
you got.
I got
Yeah,
that for free because I knew
it's
the owner, and he was
right,
like, "Look, I, I would trust you to like not kill yourself with this thing because it needs
right,
so much work." So him just trying to sell it to somebody would be like a liability.
right, right. The so my wife is my best negotiating tool because so we'll go to get a moped or motorcycle together, and this is the way it happens. Let's say we're going to you to buy a motorcycle from you, and my wife is their girlfriend, insert whatever that works. And if she gets mad because I'm spending too much money, now you're on my side,
Hmm.
right? So she would go, "There's no way you're spending that much money," and storm off. And now you're trying to help me out because you know what trouble I'm going to be in as soon as we get back in the car. And it worked. Guys felt so sorry for me, and they would just help out. But it's just like I don't. I guess when I go buy a motorcycle, I don't take it personal. I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to. I did tell this guy once, and he goes, "Well, what do you think?" I said, "Well," and the guy was like 6'4", 250, and I said, "Look, I'm going to tell you, but just don't hit me." And we were buying a moped. We had a Volkswagen Cabriolet that we were in, and I said, "Look, I'll give you $50." He wanted like $600 for it. I'll give you $50, and you can laugh at us when we put it on the bike rack on the back of that car. And he said, "Okay, I'll take it." And that was it, $50. But it wasn't worth much more than that. So yeah.
You're not going to get it if you
So
don't ask for it.
yeah, it's like I said, I paid $206 for the CL350 that I had because the guy wanted more. I offered him $200. He said no, and then I reached in my other pocket that I typically keep odd numbers in it of money, and I pulled it out and said, "All I have is $6 more." He said, "Okay, I'll take it." So it's like, I'll take it, $206. So and it's like I said before, these motorcycles are cool, but these conversations, these stories are way better to me. Because every motorcycle has a story. You can remember exactly where you got it, exactly what you paid for it, kind of the back history that came with it, and that to me is the most exciting point. So if you had to pick a favorite kid, right, or a favorite motorcycle, which one is the one that you've had or that you have?
So if I had to pick a favorite motorcycle that I've had,
Or have, yeah.
honestly, like my current CB750, I have
Yeah.
had like it doesn't make sense why it just makes me smile every
Yeah.
time I throw a leg over it.
Yeah.
It just has a character to it, and it just whatever thing it's tickling, it does it well.
Yeah.
I just really enjoy that bike. It's just fun.
Yeah.
I've sold a few CB750s before, but never kept them because everybody always wants to buy them. And
Right. Right. Right.
and I feel like I saved it. Like I had like that mechanical sympathy to it. I
Yeah.
feel like I
Yeah.
saved it, and we are having fun together. That kind of
Right. Yeah. It's almost like they, this is going to sound weird. You'll get it. It's like they have a soul,
I always say that. Yeah.
and they're happy to be alive again.
Hmm.
Right? They've been sitting in the back of somebody's shed or laid over on the ground, and they just need to be. They only know that they have to run. They're a machine. They're designed for it. Right? They're going to work, and uh, that's what's really cool about it. And I love everyone I get. I'm not gonna. Especially like the ones I like the Moto Guzzi. I had no interest in. It was just cheap and it was interesting. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, but I fall in love with them while I'm putting them together.
Hmm.
And that's the scary part.
It's just like the way a certain thing is designed, or like it's an oddball with fastening that thing down. It's like it's carefully
Yeah,
how it was engineered.
yeah, and totally fall in love with it. I mean, it's like the CB750, the '79 CB750 that I'm putting together now. I love the thing and I've never ridden it yet.
Yeah.
Haven't ridden it yet. It runs. I'm waiting on carburetors to come in, and I don't know if I really want to sell it, but it's like I would have guessed the CB 750.
Yeah. I do
So
feel that my love for that bike has come through in those videos. It's really done well.
yeah. That's the cool thing. Yeah, it's like I don't know if you can see it, but it doesn't have the side covers on it, but it's got decals now, and it's starting to look good.
Oh, there we go.
You know,
So
it's
that
starting
one
to
says
come
it's
together.
79, so that's an anniversary bike.
No, they made three models in
Yeah.
'79. They made the L, the F, and then the K.
Yeah.
This is the K. So,
If you want some more 79s, there's a guy about 10 miles from me who's selling an entire collection of 79 anniversary bikes.
oh wow,
I haven't asked the price because I don't need them, and he says they're well below market, and he's sold a bunch.
yeah, that's that's crazy.
Never for items is fast.
So let me ask you that: what's the What's the motorcycle bucket list if you had to pick it?
Ooh, I got to ride the CBX.
Yep.
I need to see what that's all about.
Hmm.
I'm very lucky. I have kind of the bucket list, some of my bucket list bikes, like the Benelli.
Yeah.
I would have never thought to put that one on there. Like I don't know anything about it
Yep.
still, but like
Yep.
now that I have it, that's a bucket list bike.
Right. Right.
Um, I need to ride an old Triumph Bonneville or something, like an old one, a
Yeah.
proper one. I've
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
experienced one like that.
Yeah.
Um, Man, that's a good question. I don't know if I put too much thought into it.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Everybody talks about like the um the 500cc triple cab chassis, the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, why not?
Yeah.
I know it's the 500s that were the Widowmaker. That was the light version.
Right. Yeah. But they're just so hard to get into.
Yeah, I
You know.
want to just ride somebody's.
Right. I have a a really good friend that I've got that has every flavor of the triples, all the colors, and but he also has a '69 Sandcast CB750 that lives in a bubble, right? It's
Yeah.
uh, but they're just amazing, and they're amazing. He doesn't ride them; he's not going to ride them, but it's awesome. It's awesome just to see them, and they've appreciated so much in the last 5 years. It's just ridiculous.
Oh no, like I mean, I don't know if it's like this where you are, but if I go into business or marketplace, there's always ads from somebody who's like looking for Kawasaki, and it's like always a
Yeah,
guy hunting for Kawasaki. It's
yeah,
ridiculous,
yeah.
But
So you're in a good spot to find motorcycles because they were you got enough space between places that people just kept on held on to things.
yeah,
Right? So you can find them in the barn, like you found that Benelli, right? You can find those things. The bad thing with where we are in Louisiana, just north of New Orleans, we get hurricanes every, 3 to 5 years. So things get flooded. So, and if something stays outdoors, they don't stay in the right condition because it's so humid,
yeah.
even
I
if it's
think
covered.
you'll get a lot of comments from people, let's say in the UK and stuff. They're like, we just don't have those things, and then I see pictures on like Facebook groups of people in the UK showing a bike that they just bought for cheap, and they look
Yeah.
like boat anchors from all the corrosion and stuff, and they
Yeah.
break. Yeah, like I'm definitely lucky where I'm at here. I mean, we do have problems with rust with cars, but as
Yeah.
far as motorcycles, I mean, generally they're not terrible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, that's the good thing. It's like it's trying to find the. But I've come to realize that I just have to look everywhere.
Yeah,
So I look all over the country, and I'm not afraid if I'm looking for something in particular. Like I found my CB 450 K1, found it in Wisconsin, and it $400. I'll take it. We'll figure out how we get it here. So
well, so do you know like Thomas from Mile Zero Racing?
yep,
So me and him chat all the time. He was messaging me yesterday, and he's got a friend, a guy locally with a beautiful green CB 450T, and he's
yep,
like, "Oh, I don't know, should I get it? It's like $1,500, which is like
yeah.
he won't move on it." And in his area of New York, it's to me that seems like a fair price for both parties. But I
Right,
wouldn't
right.
pay that. So I'm like, look around the country, like if you guys see a bike near you you want me to go pick up for you, like
That's it.
hit me up because I got the cheap stuff here. I
Yeah.
told him like you got to look everywhere.
Yeah, that's the key. I had a great relationship with I met the guy that actually picked up the CB 450. I actually found him through. I love that GL 1100 for $200.
That's a
You
yeah.
know, I met the guy. Called him Larry the Shipper. He found him through UShip. He was just the bid that I accepted. He picked it up, but then he told me he lived in Alabama, and he goes, "Hey, if I'm ever going anywhere, here's my number. Just let me know." And so he would text me when he was going hey, I'm going to, let me know if you want me to pick up anything, because it was so much cheaper because he's already coming back and he
Oh
didn't
yeah,
want to come back with an empty trailer.
yeah.
And
Icing on the cake for them.
oh yeah, so I'd look all over the country where this guy was. It's just like,
That's
who's
the
doing
thing. I
it?
do the same thing. Like I've shipped a few bikes and I'll save the like if I like the guy who's picked it up, save their
Mhm.
contact and remember their route.
Yeah,
Look where where they go, and then if they don't have if they don't have that route, they have a friend that has a
that's
similar
right.
route. And so it's all
Yeah,
networking.
yeah.
So yeah, you gotta save the contact info of the shippers for sure.
That's it, and being able to find it. Like the guy that we use now, he runs the route from Miami to Los Angeles every other week. So he takes a week to go to Los Angeles and then a week to go back to Miami, then turns around and does it again. And drags a 40-foot trailer and just fills it full of motorcycles,
Shoot.
you know.
The
So it's
the
all we
XF
do.
650 I sold late last year. That ended up going to Arizona, and I had a friend refer a shipper to me, and this guy transported parts. Usually to like he'll go like St. Louis, whatever, to
Yeah,
Arizona to California, and it was working out perfect. So he just showed up in a nice Mercedes Sprinter
yeah,
with like some paintings and stuff in it, and just loads the bike in it with his dog, and
Good.
he's happy as can be, man. It works
Yeah.
like 8 months out of the year.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I had a buddy that sold a Moto Guzzi he lives locally around here. He had a guy that bought it, rode the bus and then was planning to ride the Moto Guzzi home. And it's like, okay, hopefully you bought a bag full of tools because you're probably going to need them. You know, no matter how sorted the bike is,
Oh yeah.
it's just something's going to go wrong.
Well,
It's
I think I heard you talking, maybe with Zach or something, about wanting maybe your son
oh yeah, me and my son, yeah, we have four kids.
doing
Yeah,
like a certain mileage challenge or something. Like you buy something, ride it back.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what we want to do. The two of us,
Yeah,
we want to just buy a pair of motorcycles and then just wherever they are and just ride them home.
yeah. I want to do something similar. Like let's say however much you spend, like a 500
Yep,
challenge, 500
yep,
bucks, 500 miles. I want to
yeah,
do
that's
something
right.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. That would be a lot of fun to be able to do that. The other thing that I kind of started, I didn't finish because COVID happened. Was I wanted to take $500 at the beginning of the year, and then buy a motorcycle, sell it, take that money, buy another motorcycle, and just keep trading up, see what you end up with by the end of the year. You know, it's
Yeah,
a fun kind of activity. It takes a while to move through, but like COVID, I started it and COVID happened, so we just couldn't do anything, and then I didn't start it up again. But it's because the way we do it here is if I buy a motorcycle, I use motorcycle money to buy the motorcycle. That keeps me out of trouble, right? It's like I've said before, my wife said I can have as many motorcycles as I want as long as her car still fits in the garage. So and but when I sell a motorcycle, she gets half of the proceeds.
okay.
So because that way I'm always in good shape.
Well, she's
Yeah.
helping you buy them right too, so she's your
Yeah.
negotiator. So
And she's always on my side when it comes to it because she's been with me too many times to where the guy's like, I'm buying a motorcycle. He's like, my wife won't let me keep it. And I'm like, oh, okay, crap. And my wife's carrying wheels to the truck, and I'm looking at this CB354 right here. We bought a pair of them for a total of $400,
damn.
and one was together, and then the other one was a build a bike project. I sold the other one, and everything else kept this one because it's my wife's, and he's doing the same thing. My wife won't let me keep them, and my wife is carrying stuff to the trailer, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. You may have picked the wrong one. It's so, but she feigns excitement. I don't know if you get to experience this. You know how it is. There's nothing like a first start.
Yeah. Exactly.
When this Benelli starts for the first time, it's going to be like Tom Hanks from Castaway. You made fire. You're going to be dancing around. There's nothing like it. You know, it's the best thing in the world.
Fire!
And,
That's what
oh
it's going to be
yeah.
like.
Look, I walk inside and I'm like it's like I'm a professional wrestler, right? Doing this, strutting around the ring. And she acts excited every time I do it because it's the same every time. Doesn't matter what it is. You know, if it's, and because there's nothing like it. You know, the more of that you get to experience, the better off it is. And that's the addicting part of working on uh, these old motorcycles is because
Yeah.
you brought them back to life.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
it becomes a personal. It's like your personal challenge. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to make this fun. I'm going to prove that I can do this, and that's probably part of the reason why I'm like rebuilding every engine. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like I want to prove that I can make this run.
Yeah, because it's just problem solving, right? It only needs three things. Yeah, you just got to sort through those three things, see if you have them. Yeah, you may have to end up down a rabbit hole sorting those, but it's all that is, and it's just you go back to the basics and being able to do it. Although I've got one over here sitting in the corner, you know, that is just making me bananas. It's a little C200, that little C200 that is and something in it says, no, I just don't want to run the way I should. And so I'm letting it sit in the corner and think about what it's doing for a while, and then I'll give it some attention a
You
little
change
while.
your tune.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
got an email today from a guy. He watched the Benelli video and he's like, I've had this thing everywhere. Nobody can figure out what it's doing, and I think you're the only one who could fix it. I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, I have no idea what I'm doing with the Nelly. I have no clue. He's like, I've replaced the coils, I've replaced this and this and this. It'll run, get hot, and die. Let's pull off the fires again. And to me, that sounds kind of like a coil or something.
yeah, condenser. Yeah,
But he's like, you can be the one to figure it out. I'm like, not me, man.
yeah. No, it's like somebody asked me the other day a Moto Guzzi question, and I'm like, I have no idea. You know, I have no idea. I clean the points, I clean the carburetor, I put a starter in it, and it runs. You know, it's not rocket science on that. Now, I don't know anything about the way it's engineered. I don't know anything about that, and I don't need to know that right now. You know, so it's really kind of interesting, really kind of fun. Dude, I love doing these.
Yeah,
I've been doing,
most definitely.
I've been doing these lives. I started last week with Zach from Moto Mango, and I've got so many of them scheduled, like three this week, and I think we have three next week. They're just so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, just we
It's
get
like me,
to.
I live out in the shop or at my desk. I don't talk to real people most of the time.
That's it. You know, it's so funny because both my wife and I work from home too, so we don't ever leave the house. You know, we give the UPS guy a hug when he still shows up. You know, we're so happy to see it. But we're always here, and like I've mentioned before, it's like doing these videos. You're always just here by yourself,
Yeah.
which is kind of how I started with a YouTube channel. My wife was into it. She goes, dude, you're in there talking to yourself anyway. You should just record it. Because she would come in, she goes, somebody in here with you, and it's just me talking to the motorcycle, hoping they'll help me out. You know, I don't know what's going on, but that's where it is. But it's kind of fun. But it's so. Do you? Well, I'll ask you this: have you been to Barber Motorsports or Barber Vintage Fest?
I made it to Vintage Fest in 2017, and I've been wanting to make it back ever since. I'm going this year. I have to go.
Okay.
It's such an amazing event. Just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what you see riding around is
Yeah.
Will Hendersons and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
there's three of those in the world. He's riding
That's
it.
right.
You
Yeah.
know, it's insane.
Yeah, and what I tell people about it, it's always so crazy because one of my favorite images that's stuck in my head is when you're riding around the loop is just the rows of motorcycles, and you'll have a Harley Davidson parked next to a BMW that's parked next to a pedal start moped that's parked next to something you've never seen before. And it's all okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, there's not. I mean, of course, just the facility is amazing. The track is amazing. The
Yeah.
museum
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memories is just camp. I was camping with my buddy Doug,
Yeah.
and they were doing the slow races in the parking lot of this
Yeah.
campground at night, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, we have a vendor spot. Me and a buddy split a vendor spot. We call it it's a vendor spot. It's just because we get to camp at the swap meet,
Yeah,
right? Actually, I think it ends up being about the same price as if we got camping spots, but we're right there in the middle, and it's perfect. We love it. It's a great spot. We're trying to add on to our spot just because it gives us a little bit more space to
yeah,
move around. But everybody should go there. Everybody, if you're into
yeah.
old motorcycles,
I'm debating. It's easy to premise all of this if this only ever becomes work.
mhm,
I would love to go there and sell parts, but at the same time, I like to go there and just hang out.
yeah,
I yeah, I'm always torn. It's like recording so much for this.
yeah,
Sometimes I just want to go for a ride without the camera, but always
that's
on the side when stuff happens.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
That's we only bring enough stuff to Barber to sell so that our trip to Barber doesn't cost us anything.
yeah,
And like the stuff I bring, I treat it like a garage sale. I'm not bringing it home. I
yeah,
mean, if I'm having a garage sale or a tag sale, I don't want this stuff anymore. So if you pick it up from the table and have interest in it, I will
I'll
give
be
it to you. Yeah, it's yours. I'll give it away because I don't need to have it. And what we've done that's been fun is the last couple of years. We had the COVID, we were off. Last couple of years, the challenge has been to buy a motorcycle there on the first day because we get there on Wednesday night or Thursday morning, depends on the week, and to get one there, get it running before we leave.
hmm
And so, like the first one we did, we bought a pedal start mini moped, right? It was like a mini bike, but a pedal start, but folded in half. It had a hinge in the middle. And we split it, we went on halves on it, $100. And I ended up buying him out of his half with a Honda toolkit that I paid $20 for. And I got it running. We got it. We took it apart. The engine was seized. We took it all apart and put it back together. Made a base gasket out of a 12 pack cardboard. Right. Put it back together. Got it running. The tires were split in the back, so we zip tied them all the way around so they wouldn't come apart, and we rode it. You
that's
know,
awesome.
and
And yeah, if you get something that's more common, it's like clearly the parts you need are also for sale in the event.
they're right there. Yeah,
It would
you
be
can find
fun.
it. This last year, I bought a little C100, like an 81 C100 little Cub. Got it, paid $150 for it, got it running, sold it the next day for $500, but it's running. It's a running. It was
It
all
makes a
there,
big difference.
complete.
Yeah,
It's a good deal. I mean, they could take and move it on into their other spot and sell it. So, but now I'm playing with house money, so it doesn't matter. So everybody should go, and it's awesome. Whether if you just go to camp, the camping is amazing. Everything. I feel like I'm doing a commercial for Barber right now, but it's in the museum. If you haven't been there, it's worth
no,
it.
it's worth all of the praise.
Yeah.
It really is. Have you been to Vintage Days in like the Mid Ohio or whatever?
No, I haven't been to Mid Ohio yet. We were planning to go the COVID year, but my old friend, that's when he got sick. We were going to go together, and then he ended up passing away. So hadn't been, but
I
yeah.
sold an old MT 125R race bike to a
Hmm.
guy who's like right in that Mid Ohio race
Yeah,
area. Man, I got to this guy's house and he had nothing but like old race bikes and stuff. Him and his dad. It was like an astonishing collection of just the coolest stuff. The video I got on it, I'm like, this one should be popular, but nobody watches.
yeah, yeah,
But it's like so cool.
yeah.
You
It's
meet
awesome.
some really cool people doing that.
Yeah, it's great because where our vendor spot is in G, the people around us are the same people every year.
Mhm.
So there's a whole bunch of different, the guys that are right across the way, they race and then they have a vendor spot and they're awesome, young guys, and they're awesome because they just buy crappy things, get them running and turn them over. And they're like carnival barkers, which is funny. And, they set up a projector and a TV, they watch football on Saturday night. So it's perfect, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I feel like I'm doing a commercial for Barbara, but I could do that all the time. So what's the goal? What's the goal for Brick House Builds? Where do you see it in a year, 2 years, 5 years?
In a definitely in a new space.
Yeah.
I was looking at two spaces today.
Yeah.
Might pull
Awesome.
the trigger on one. Like might be, I mean maybe the beginning. So
Awesome.
I just want to. I want to. Right now, I'm so overwhelmed with all the stuff I'm doing.
Yeah.
There's beyond the channel. I've mentioned like my father passing and stuff like that. It's just
Yeah.
like there's so much stuff that goes into just all of my family right now
Yeah.
that I worked on this bike for 3 hours yesterday. That's the first time I've worked on a bike in a month.
Yeah. 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 Good. Good.
So my goal would be to like get back into just being able. I just want to build cool shit. I just want to get in the shop and be
Yeah.
able to just knock out work and just like catch up with projects. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the project is. I just want to get more of them done and try not to buy more before I get those done. I want that one decrease,
How many? What's the number now? How many are over there?
I don't know. I like 13 bikes or something like that.
Yeah.
It changes literally every day. What I've noticed if I sell a bike, it doesn't matter. This is always the case. If I sell a bike, one comes back the next day that wasn't looking for. And it's one of those things. It's like your friend calls you and it's like, "Hey, you can have this," and you're like, "Damn it, I'm obligated to take the free bike."
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I know. I feel the same thing. There's 14 of them in here right now. Between I'm I'm really good at Tetris and what I can fit in a garage in this little shop right that's attached to it with the three cars and all that. We managed to wiggle it all in, and you can get in and out, and the door actually shuts. But yeah, it's the same thing. I had this little Gorelli moped that I just picked up. I just couldn't help it because it was cheap, and I got it running. It was done. Only just nostalgic for pedal star mopeds. They don't ever show up. Listed it for sale. It is so slow. It's like a 15-mile-an-hour moped. It is so slow. I can't sell it. Meaning, I won't sell it because it's not safe. It's like because people want to get them. Hey, I'm going to use it in New Orleans and ride around the city. No, man, you can't do that. It's going to take you 20 seconds to get up to 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that's with you pedaling, right? It's like it's not going to happen. So I've had so many people that wanted to buy it. I can't in good conscience sell it to somebody that's going to use it because it's not safe. And I put the links to the videos that I did, and the second video of me riding it is titled "It's So Slow," and they still want to buy it. And I'm like, dude, you can't buy it. It's it's
That's a tough.
it's
I mean, for me, that's a tough call.
yeah, it's like so bad, and I've got a guy now that has been he messages me like every 3 or 4 days, and I've got it listed for $700. He's up to $1,200,
Sell that thing. Come on.
and I can't do it. It's like because I'm like, dude, man, this is not it's not safe.
Look. Let him pay 1,200, and then he'll own it for a month, and he'll be like, "Hey, this is not what I thought it was going to be," even though you've explained it 1,000 times. And then he'll sell that to you for $400, and then you get to sell it again. It'll be like
I
one
can
of
sell it
those
again.
like buy here, pay here car lots.
I can just keep flipping it. That sell the same motorcycle, but I don't want it back. If it took up more room, it would not be here.
Yeah.
That would be, but it does. It's a bicycle. So yeah, but it's crazy. So it's awesome, dude, man. It's been 45 minutes.
It feels like 10.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is incredible. I've loved it. Thank you. What's that?
I'm not in any hurry. Like,
Oh,
keep
perfect. I'm
going.
not either. We can keep this thing going. So that's awesome. So it's great hearing the goal, and I'm gonna share with you a kind of my, and I know this is gonna sound bananas, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And this is coming from somebody that has right now. Our channel's a year old. I've got a little over 1,100 subscribers. My goal is to be at 56,000 subscribers by November 16th, 2023.
Okay.
I'll be
And
50,
what's
I'll
the
be 50,
significance of that date?
I'll be 56 years old.
Okay, that'd be cool.
So and that's a bananas kind of goal, right? In trying to grow this, because you go, it took a year, and but I'm thinking that why the hell not?
No, it's absolutely possible. It's absolutely possible. It's like
Yeah,
you never in a year. So going from like let's say starting to 1,000 in about a year, that's doing pretty good. A lot of people from what I've seen, that's about
yeah,
what the goal is or what it should take. And then you literally never know. You could have one that just takes off. You know,
yep,
it happens to me. It's like you have one that takes off and then it just flies. You know,
yep, yep,
that's really
yes.
what matters. Like,
It's like
I don't know.
rewinding.
It looks like you're putting out clear content. You know, like I referenced your video on like how do you find parts for these old bikes? That's a
Yeah,
common question.
yeah,
Something
yeah,
like that. It's something helpful, very
yep.
clearly presented. You know, it's not an unreasonable goal at all.
No, that's what we're doing. And so, which, in full disclosure, I am, uh, I am very intentional. This is the first time I've publicly declared it,
Okay.
right? My family knows and everybody knows. And we have 4 children. And so there's select people that know, but I've never said it out front. But you know what? My son's a mental performance coach, he's a sports psychologist, right? You've got to speak it into existence, and so
Exactly.
I truly believe it, and so that's why we're just being very intentional, very purposeful about everything we're doing, and that's it. But main thing we're doing is hanging out with these motorcycles. If we can take and get these things running, get them going, give them another life somewhere else, then that's it. That's the plan, and that's what we're doing, and I love it. I love that. Beginning of the year, I had the intention to say, okay, I'm going to reach outside of the shop,
Hmm.
and then it took me a while to figure out how to do it because how do you do that? I'm still figuring it out. I'm going to sound like a really old guy right now. Before I started my channel a year ago, I had zero social presence on purpose.
Hmm.
Right, I had Instagram, I just deleted it all. I had Facebook, I just deleted it all. It wasn't working for me in my life. Right,
Yeah,
not what I
it
want.
can be very toxic.
Yeah, yeah, and so look, my wife has it. She communicates with everybody else. I don't. I've got 6 friends on Facebook. One of them is our dog that's no longer alive, and another one is my friend who's no longer alive. But you just can't unfriend those people, right? So it's kind of wouldn't feel good. It's trying to figure out, okay, how do we leverage this and to do it? And it's been a lot of fun. But the main thing is trying to figure out how to do these videos and how to just keep doing them and staying kind of consistent. They're just like, how do I put it? It's just like getting how many. I don't know if you're this way, but I'm this way. I can go from wreck to prototype like that, right? Knowing this, I see the vision. I'll get it to that point, and then once I get it to version 1.0, I really don't want to work with it anymore. I'm done with it. You know what I mean? When you get the bike clean, I don't want to go ahead and change cables on it. That's no fun anymore, right? It's all the maintenance stuff I don't want to do. But that's where the channel has really helped me to stay accountable, and I get more of that piddly stuff done that I don't want to do. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the CBX.
Yeah,
A restoration honestly does not interest me in the least.
yeah,
This is a like the CBX would be a purely business profit motivated project, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm learning stuff. It's a cool project, but that's kind of it's fallen off the for multiple reasons. But like I'm having a hard time getting back on that one because it's not interesting to me. You're modifying something. It's just like you make it sterile. You make it clean and just how it was. Like, and
Right. Right.
there's nothing really against that. It's just not me,
Yeah.
you know. And so, yeah, that motivation, it's like having the videos and stuff, and people in the comments. Like every day, I get at least a couple people messaging and texting me and commenting. Where's the CBX? Where's the CBX?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's tough.
they'll keep you on track.
Yeah. It's and you know it's been good. I love the accountability because it helps. Because I would come in here, there's air conditioning, there's a TV, there's heat that I don't need to go anywhere. I mean, I need food. I could sleep in here if I have to, but it's I would just come in and move stuff around. You know, turn the TV on. Before you know it, I was sitting on the stool and I'm just watching TV for the last 2 hours. Maybe I've cleaned everything up really good, but I hadn't done any work. Now I get way more stuff done. You know, so somebody else has a CT90. That's awesome. I love the early CT90s. I had a yellow one that some guy came to do work on the house and he saw that I had a garage full of motorcycles, asked about it, and then bought it. So it's like,
That's how it
yeah,
happens. You become, I say, you become the motorcycle guy, and like I was from a small town, and that was a blessing. Like literally, I had the garage door open. People
yeah,
would drive by and see bikes in there, and they'd stop, and they gotta come talk, and you end up talking 2 hours. But then a week later,
yeah,
somebody drops off a bike. You know,
yeah, yeah. That
it's
we,
like I have to turn away deals. You know,
yeah, we started last month. So we started doing a garage party the first Tuesday of every month. It's
I've heard.
a BYOB and a friend. So, and will have food and snacks, and we do it. We just open the garage and whatever you want to do, you just come and we just come and we do this. We just talk about motorcycles for a couple hours, and people leave. Now that the weather's gotten a little bit better, it's easier. Now that it doesn't get dark until later now, and it's fun. It's been a lot of fun. And the good thing is that it allows me to, it forces me to be more regular on when I clean the garage. So I typically would empty the garage, take everything out, the shop and everything, roll everything out, sweep it, mop it, and put everything back in. So my wife thinks I'm crazy because I do clean the garage. But what the hell is that?
I remember I was on a trip somewhere. I was like I just crossed the river into Illinois, and I start passing. The truck starts passing. He's got his TBX in the bed of the truck. I'm like,
Yeah,
ah! You know,
yeah,
he took the exit. I'm like, shit.
yeah. I just took. Uh, I typically leave a couple of motorcycles in the bed of the truck. I drive an old 1978 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive.
That's the
And
conversation starter. You know,
what's that?
that's the conversation starter.
That most definitely is. And if you put two old motorcycles in the back of it, it's even you can't go anywhere. But I realized that, and I knew this already, but if there's a little bit of weight in the back of the truck, it rides so good.
Yeah.
Because you got a little bit of weight in the suspension. So, because normally I'm at the top of the suspension, so it's like a wagon. And so with a motorcycle in the back, it's perfect. And I'm like, but I've got to go pick up that damn Kawasaki tomorrow, so I had to roll them out. But yeah, I was just lazy not taking them out, and I was thinking, well, okay, it's definitely a conversation starter, so you can talk to people about it. But yeah, it's kind of fun. So, what was the? I'll ask you another question as we're getting through this. And if you had to think about it, what was the one project you did that was like the one from it won't end?
Okay. The one we don't speak of.
Yeah.
I did I don't even know what year. I think it was a '93 Yamaha Seka 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 600cc sport bike, and it's like
Yeah.
got a design.
Yeah.
And they look really cool when you strip them down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like chopped the tail off. I had it down. I had the engine out of it. and did like a cool little like bobber seat. This thing looked awesome. I found a cheap used carbon Yoshimura on eBay,
Yeah.
slapped that on there, and the bike looked cool. I went through 44 spark plugs.
Going back to the
I mean,
statement.
it's got to be jetting, right? It got to be
Yeah.
jetting. It was like I'd ride it for a little bit, and then I'd flip into it. And it's like, bleh,
Yeah.
and I'm early into my days, so I don't
Yes.
know. You know,
Right.
they had a bad CDI, come to find out, but I never knew that. I ended up just selling the bike. I actually gave up on it, and
Yeah.
that was, I learned my lesson on lithium batteries on that thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Stock big rectifier on it, and went back one day doing some plug chops, doing some
Yeah.
card tuning.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, I hear a like smoking. Battery went nuclear on me and melted
Yeah.
down. That was scary.
Oh yeah. That's bad news.
It's like
Yes.
that one was a learning experience.
It's so funny when going back to the statement earlier. There's no free motorcycle. You got $100 in spark plugs. More than
Yeah.
that, almost two hundred
Well,
dollars.
and people ask me all the time. It's like, where did you learn this? Oh, I wish I had your skills. And like, I had to melt down batteries and go through 44 spark plugs to learn that it was the CDI, and then I should have a different charging system. Like,
Yeah.
it's through mistakes that you learn.
Yeah.
It's not like it happens overnight. I wasn't born with whatever skills I have. I screw up a lot.
Yeah. So here, I got to make sure I tell Lucky Crow. All you got to do is tell me what flavor beer you want, and you can come change all the cables. I'll make sure I have you set up.
RG cables. Ah, yeah.
I'll have you set up with all the beer you need.
Uh, yeah, like you said, like you open up your garage and let people hang out. Like that would be a nice goal. Like this place I looked at today has like a cool hangout vibe to it, which is what I
Yeah. Yeah.
really want. Like I would love to do like a ride in, like a cafe type thing. Like a destination like grab some coffee before you go on the ride. We have world class riding roads all around us.
Yeah.
But yeah, having like just a cool hangout thing, like close to the bike magazine. I would love to do that.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Just
Yeah.
open up
That.
and let people hang.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be cool. That's like the. There's a guy in. I want to say Fort Myers, Florida. It's not Fort Myers. It's Burn Up Company. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, he's got an amazing spot. They built a coffee shop. They built all this stuff. They moved into a new location. But the whole thing was set up to where you just come and hang out.
Yeah.
We went there. We were in that neck of the woods maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when they were first starting up, and we pulled in. We saw it, talked to him, and he was like, "Yeah, if you want some food, there's food up just in the refrigerator. There's drinks. Get whatever you want. Just come hang." And they were just him and his buddy just working on motorcycles.
Yeah.
It's cool. Just a cool thing to see, and it's a neat kind of vibe just to be able to do it. I went today. It's kind of interesting, and as he gets it sorted, a really good friend of mine is he has a prop house, right? They film a lot of movies in and around New Orleans, and so he does props. And he's got a motorcycle. It's almost a 70-year-old motorcycle that we've been talking about. He just needs to get it running again.
Yeah.
I'm purposely being coy for what it is. The video will come out on Sunday, so you can find out there. We went there this morning just to do the assessment of what we think it may or may not need, so we can go from there. But he's got he did all of the most of the props for the American Horror Story series.
Okay.
So all of the campers and all that stuff, and he's got it set up on his place to where it looks like they're there camping, right? Like the. And I was over there. We're talking about a hang spot, and just because he has it set up to where you can do that, I was working on looking at this motorcycle, and it's under this rack of this shelving, industrial shelving that you can put pallets on.
Yeah.
And I stepped back, and it's a wall of caskets. They're not real; they're prop caskets, but they're just made, but because they're prop stuff. And I was like, holy crap, this is just so surreal that I'm under this. There's a old Model A right next to me, and I'm in looking at this motorcycle and all of this above me, and it's like bananas. The place is crazy, but they had their old spot was set up just to where you could just come hang out. It was like being in the set from that movie, which was insane. You know, so he's got some interesting things, really interesting things. You walk by and you just want to, can I have that? Can I have that? Can I have that? You know, it's just crazy stuff. You know, it's interesting. But yeah, this has been awesome. You know, for those of you guys who are on, if you're currently not subscribed to Brickhouse Builds, go ahead and do that. And if you're not following him on Instagram, go ahead and do it. And if you are following him on Instagram, go ahead and like everything he's posted. And if you
Mainly dog videos.
what's that?
It's mainly dog videos.
Mainly dog videos. You know, so if you already subscribe to him, just before you leave the house every day, just turn your YouTube on and set to play that playlist and just leave it running all day long, which would be
Like
awesome.
kids channels, bro.
Nobody's
watching.
just let it keep going. That's it. You know, we can create some bots, so that's awesome. And if you guys want, if you guys enjoy these videos, we're doing an Instagram live tomorrow with Mason from Mason George Motorcycles. Yeah, I think so. It's such you know, this just doing this. I've never met him before. It's only through Instagram, and I reached out and he said, "Yeah, it sounds like fun." And so we're going to do it. We're going to have the same because I you know, it's like I went inside last night, and I think this will kind of sum it up. Is that my wife was upstairs and she was watching the one with Grin Moto from last night. You know, and she goes, after it was over, you know, I left the room, let her finish, right? And after it was over, she goes, I couldn't stop smiling the whole time, you know, and because even though I've never met him before, I had to text him before and say, what's your first name? Right? Yeah. Because I wanted to make sure I said it. And she goes, but you guys are the same people. You're into the same things, and trying to find a way to connect with people that are into the same things, get you more excited about the stuff you're into.
Yeah.
You know, when you're into, yeah. You know, so that's been it, man. This has been amazing. I'm glad we finally got together and we were able to do this. And we'll do it again. We'll do it again. We'll figure out a way to do this, and we'll, you know, I don't know what I'm doing on this thing, but we'll just keep doing it. You know. So, guys, I want to thank you. Thanks again to BJ for doing this, and
appreciate all the watchers.
Yeah, and thanks for watching. And as always, like, tag, share, and follow everybody on this thing. And you guys have a great night. We'll see you next time. Thanks.